Warning, this podcast may contain bad language and content that some listeners may find offensive or lead to the end of the world.
Potentially. I was going to be creative and get AI to write an intro for us, but I forgot. So, yeah, had to make do with this. Or did an AI write this? Ooh.
No.
Welcome to Seesaw Podcast.
With your hosts, T, Cleaves, and Selina.
Every week, bringing some much-needed balance and humour to brighten up what can sometimes be a dark, disabled world.
Welcome to Seesaw Podcast, the poorly described podcast, according to AI, of all disability podcasts. So, if you haven't guessed by the stupidness of the intro so far, today we are jumping on the bandwagon. That is artificial intelligence. It's coming up everywhere. Every time you turn on the TV, on the news, it's on about something. So we are going to chat about artificial intelligence as it would affect blindness. There's going to be lots of other utilities to it. There's a lot of scaremongering about the robots are coming and blah, blah, blah. But there are a lot of really positive things that do come from artificial intelligence. We're going to look on the blind side of things. It will help a lot of disabled people, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on what their needs are, therefore what they might need to be solved. But we know about being blinkies, so we're going to go into that. So, without being condescending, I will just very briefly cover what artificial intelligence is, because it's a buzzword that's thrown around a lot. And I'm aware that some listeners might not actually be aware of technology in this regard and might have just heard it as a term.
And to be clear, you're going to do this without being condescending.
Yes.
Go for it. I can't wait.
Artificial intelligence, it is sometimes thought of as just like, you hear things like, oh, you can type something in to a program like ChatGPT. There are other ones available, and it will just spit out an answer and that sort of thing. I feel what people don't understand with artificial intelligence, which is why I'm doing this, is it's a learning platform. The way it works is it will learn from responses like, yes, that was good. No, that wasn't good. And because it's a part of a huge network, that's why it can really gets really good very quickly, because of the fact that it has the benefit of not having to repeat the same issue, or get something wrong on every single platform. So it will learn from getting it wrong once with one person, and it will never do that again with millions of people. And I think sometimes that's overlooked with artificial intelligence and why it's getting better and better and why it's seen such a resurgence and why it's going to get so big, like it's going to get even bigger. And of course, this is going to have a lot of potentially scary things, taking people's jobs, but we're not going to cover that. We're going to cover the positives of what it can do for the blind community. So, now that I've been ridiculously condescending, why don't we start off with something that was alluded to in previous episodes? I think it was said once, unless it's been cut, or twice.
Unless it's been cut twice.
So the big company at the moment who's doing a lot of artificial intelligence is Microsoft, who acquired the company OpenAI, who are known, well, you all know them, as the creators of ChatGPT. Where this comes into the blinky side of things is there is an app you can get on Android and iOS called Seeing AI. Now, I have been trying this today, and we are going to do a couple of tests on the show, because
You've only been trying it today. It's been out for ages, like years.
But I wasn't aware of it.
Okay, carry on. And
hopefully, if you haven't ever heard of this at home while you're listening to this, don't worry about Selina's condescension. You're okay in the fact that you didn't know about it and you can go download it. I'll put the links in the show notes because it is actually quite useful.
I don't really know about it, so pray tell, what does it do?
I think Selina should cover this because it's been out for ages and she has the most experience.
Seeing AI has quite a lot of features. It can read short text, a whole document. It's got a color detection, photos. It can remember people's faces. It can tell you what your currency is. Lots of different currencies from different countries. Oh, and it can also tell you what your like saved photos are in your library.
Is it free?
It's free.
So I've had to play around with it. The first thing that comes up that I found quite funny, you have to sign an agreement at the beginning, not about data sharing and all that. But I was more along the lines of seeing AI should not be used for diagnosing medical conditions. So please don't take a picture of your gammy hand or whatever and then expect it to diagnose you. And if that had to be put front and center, that someone has tried to do that at some point. So I think there's a really interesting utility for artificial intelligence. I've been mucking around with it. And one thing that I don't think Selina mentioned, but it would do a scene as well. So you can
it does that.
And this is what I've been playing around with.
But I don't use Seeing AI for that. I use Be My AI for something like that. But continue. We'll talk about that after.
We're doing Seeing AI now, Selina, okay? One at a goddamn time.
The whole VI community love Be My AI now. That's the latest thing on the block. But carry on. Let's do Seeing AI.
I'm glad that
this is going to be a real slog for you two.
I'm glad there's an alternative out there because I was playing around with the theme or scene or whatever it's called. And you know what? It's pretty good for what it does, but I think you can't trust it 100% because it doesn't fully understand what certain things are. At one point, it thought that, it just thought there was a cloud in the living room for some reason. And it even admitted it didn't know why a cloud would be by the sofa.
That's why you need Be My AI for.
Yeah.
Sorry, God.
This episode is brought to you by Be My AI.
This episode is brought to you by Selina thinks she knows better.
Always.
So, you have that feature, which I think is really good. It will also do tracking of your surroundings. So it would do like a world tracker with mixed results. It didn't flag a few things. They did a quick walk around the house, but it was good. It's not going to ever take the place of being able to see, unfortunately, at this point. But it was quite effective in sort of navigating like, oh, there's a chair, there's a door. It didn't acknowledge that there's double doors in the lounge downstairs. So that was something I was like, oh, okay. But I also had to play with the face recognition or the person recognition myself, as one does. Now, there will be edits here. Sorry, Cleaves, because I am going to ask it to describe you. I'm going to hold it near the camera so listeners can see how it describes you. And we would do it to myself as well, because let's just say I was less than thrilled with its description of me. I will also say that, yes, I do have an Irish narrator. I was
going to say, yeah. Interesting choice.
Okay, so I'm now going to point the camera at Cleaves.
34-year-old man with brown hair wearing neutral.
Now, that is pretty damn accurate. 34-year-old man with brown hair wearing glasses with a neutral expression. Please, I would like you to point this at me and tap the screen when it says there's someone central.
38-year-old man with a beard wearing a hat and glasses looking neutral.
Now, the thing that I'm upset about is it said 38. I'm not 38 years old. What I will also say is that's not the age it gave me the first time I did it. It said I was a 44-year-old man. Maybe it's because I'm wearing this hat now, which I wasn't earlier.
Be the lighting in here.
But it thought I was nearly, 9 years older than I actually am.
You should wear the hat all the time, mate. It takes 6 years off you.
I think I need to. I think before I leave the house in the morning now, I'm going to use this to see what my estimated age is based on this app.
Hey, I like it. It thinks I'm younger than it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I did pick up on is it doesn't do skin tone.
This is why you need Be My AI. Carry on.
We're reviewing this one first, okay?
Okay. Might need to do a quick download and some editing so you can try that one as well. Carry on.
Well, I think this is a really interesting program. the takeaway that I have from this is, like I said, artificial intelligence is getting better. And we're going to go on to apparently what is a better platform for it next. But I can see myself using this a little bit more.
What does it think the Seesaw logo looks like?
We can try and see.
A television is placed on a record player, displaying white text that reads Seesaw Podcast. To the right of the television, there's a neon sign featuring a microphone and an eye. Above this sign, there's another one that reads Ref the Show. Nearby, a green bottle with a white label is positioned. On the floor, a yellow and blue record with a smiley face on it is visible, and a white rectangular power strip with a red light is also present.
Now, it got some of that right. I don't know what it meant about some of it. So, like I said, you've got to take this with a pinch of salt. It kind of got things right, but take it from me, it wouldn't have been able to see the floor. And it did mention something being on the floor, and it wouldn't have been able to see that from the angle I was taking. So, let's move on to objectively the better version, according to Selina. Be My AI. How is this better and or different, Selina?
Okay. Have you heard of the app Be My Eyes?
Yes.
So it's part of that app. For those who don't know, Be My Eyes is an app where you can get sighted volunteers to help you any time of the day, basically video calls a stranger, and they will help you, which is really good. But now there's a new feature called Be My AI. It's probably been around 3-4 months now, I would say. And it's just gone like public, as in everyone can have access to it. There was an initial bit where it wasn't available to everyone. So you can take a picture of anything that you like. The actual descriptions are unbelievable about how detailed it can be. And you can also ask it questions about a picture, which is really cool. So it gives you even more detail. It's, not 100% right. As I said, it learns from what you tell it. But it's quite cool as well if you tell it things like, if I took a picture of Riley and I said the dog is called Riley after it's established, it's a beautiful black Labrador with a shiny coat doing blah, 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 blah. And it'll explain all the things. And then once you say, oh, this is Riley, it's like, okay, it's Riley doing blah, 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 blah. It's really good. You should download it right now and take a picture so you know what its capabilities are.
Does it have a scene mode?
It's just take a picture of anything. Like, you don't need to faff around with different modes. Just take a picture. And then you can ask it questions about, if it's take a picture of the scene, you can ask questions, or what does it look like on the ceiling? What does it look on the wall? Tell me more about what type of blue that is.
You have to take a picture of it, though, or can you just, point it at something and ask
No, you have to take a picture.
Oh.
You then have to take a picture on Seeing AI. That's the one.
No, but it's also good for, any photos on social media. If people haven't added alt text, you can just, there and then press share on, the photo and put describe with Be My AI, and it'll let you know what that picture is without, leaving the app.
So I just downloaded the Be My Eyes app because there was no Be My AI on there, because you said it was a part of it. So
exactly.
I'm going to give this a go then.
Is Be My Eyes free?
Yep.
So you can just call up a volunteer, basically.
Yeah, just press call a volunteer. And then there's loads of other features on there. You can call the Microsoft Disability Help Desk there. Use that today, actually. It's got Google on there. There's loads of different companies that also have, if you want specific support from them. But if you just want support from a stranger, just say call a volunteer. And then I think it calls multiple people that have signed up, and you're connected within a minute and can get help. Can you read this? Can you see where this is? Tell me what this is. It's great.
I was in the Wetherspoons in Belfast the other day because I'm a classic guy. And another Blinky walked in. I'm pretty sure he was using that, and someone was telling him where the tables were and which one his table was.
There you go, yeah.
I'm just signing up to it now. It wanted to know literally everything.
Your eye colour, your prescription, the roundness of your eyes, whether they're working, whether they can be harvested. whether they...
So it does come up with specialists, you can call a specialist or volunteer. I'm now going to try and find the AI part because I don't have narrator.
Call a specialist, see if they want to be on the podcast.
I'm not doing that one.
Why not?
Okay, be my AI. Right. I'm going to take a picture of Cleaves and we'll see what it said. I will delete it afterwards. It's doing something. I mean, there's quite a distinct delay.
Yeah, because it's that detailed. It's gathering all the information.
Don't get that with seeing AI.
Okay. It didn't automatically read it to me.
No, because if normal people have voiceover on, and voiceover will read it.
What if you don't have voiceover?
Well, you don't really need the app then. Well, you just read it with your eyes. It's like how you normally access your phone, I suppose.
Because the thing is, I don't use voiceover, but I would find this very useful. And with seeing AI, you don't need to have voiceover on. You can scan something and it will just read.
But I like it that I don't have two things then talking at me.
Why would I have two things talking at me?
No, for me, if I've got voiceover on and then it's got an internal voice as well, that's two things shouting at me. I don't need that.
Well, that's fair, but I just think it'd be nice to have a little button on here where you can just make it read out this. So, unfortunately, this is a big L to be my AI for me. Because, unfortunately, I don't want voiceover on. And I'm not going to turn it on to use the app and then turn it off again.
Well, read it yourself then.
Yeah, but I can't read very well. That's why I want it to read it to me.
Bah, you're being silly. Just 3 taps of the home button turns voiceover on and it'll read it to you.
3 taps of the home button?
Yeah, shortcut key.
Wow. We've got some. This is a very knowledge, like givey outy tips. What's the word? Knowledge sharing. Yeah, that kind of thing.
To be fair, from what I've skimmed here, it is giving a lot more detail about you sitting in the chair. It's mentioning your plaid shirt. It's mentioning your tattoo.
Oh, I picked that up.
Short, spiky hair.
Yeah, kind of.
And is smiling. I don't know if you were smiling.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I'm a cheery boy.
It didn't mention your age, which I think.
Go on, you ask the question. How old is this person?
Can you literally speak that to it?
Well, you can use dictate. Yes, you just dictate. Just dictate.
How
Press
do you
dictate.
Well, I'm just typing it.
Press dictate. What?
I've asked how old, and the first response it came up was call a volunteer.
Oh, go on.
It says, I'm sorry, but I cannot determine the age of this man in the picture.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know what they're saying.
Come on. How old does he look? No, say how old. You got to ask the right questions.
Oh, so
how
I have
old
to
do
ask
you
the
think?
right questions
Yeah,
as well.
like how old do you think? Well, they can't commit to saying he's definitely this age. So how old do you think this person looks? It'll tell you.
DNA, I did. Told me I was 34.
Yeah, well, it lied. It wasn't the truth, was it? But being my age doesn't want to
This
lie.
isn't exactly right. I have just put in exactly what you told me to put in, Selina. Let's see what it thinks. It says mid to late 30s.
There you go. Accurate.
Well, no, because it also that would cover my age as well, and I'm not in my late 40s.
Yeah, mid to late is between 35 to, well, it's probably between 34 and 39.
Yeah, that's right.
True, but I'd rather be insulted from seeing AI and taking a wild guess.
But if you want to ask more about what Cleaves' tattoo looks like, more about his shirt, you can ask all those questions.
I don't think it'll know what my tattoo looks like because it's only poking out the bottom of my shirt sleeves.
Yeah,
okay.
It just mentioned that there was a tattoo there.
But you could probably ask, and it'll probably try and tell you. It'll probably tell you. I can't tell you exactly because it was only poking out the bottom of the shirt sleeve.
Dictate it. See what it says.
Okay, shall we get back on track with this show?
This is the show. AI is ups and downs, its strengths and flaws, its peaks and troughs.
Okay,
its valleys and its high mountains.
I think we have seen some of that already.
Its towers and its basements.
So there's 2 different apps there, both with pros and cons.
You can also envision it.
I'm not.
If you would like another app,
I'm not getting free apps.
There are lots of options out there.
Okay. Well, there we go. There's a few lovely apps for you, but AI is more than just apps.
I've really enjoyed this episode because it's been like a Selina back and forth, and I kind of just get to sit on the sidelines and play umpire. Great. Fight.
Okay. Well, let's bring it on to mobility aids, something that you're very passionate about. Artificial intelligence. Robotic guide dogs. So there is a company called Boston Dynamics who have made quite an effective robot dog. It is kind of creepy looking. It doesn't have a head. They don't make it look like a dog, really. So it is just a robot skeleton, Terminator style. But they are, for what started as a basic AI, essentially a Furby on steroids or whatever those other dog pet things when you're growing up. They are starting to put things like OpenAI technology into it. So with this, could this be the end of guide dogs down the line, potentially?
I'm all for ending dog slavery.
Yeah, we've covered that in previous. I like having a dog around, but let's face it, there are a lot of inconveniences that do come with having a guide dog. There's a lot of responsibility, and they do get it wrong. But Selina, would you get a robotic guide dog if that was an option?
I don't know. Can you really replicate a real guide dog and what they can do? I don't know.
Probably Jesus. Probably better than a guide dog. Yeah, because you could just teach it to automatically look for things. It's never going to get distracted, is it? It's never going to need to go to the toilet whilst you're out on a walk. It's never going to...
It's going to be waterproof. What if it rains?
Yeah, it's going to go exactly where you want to go, not just down the woods or wherever it feels like going.
Don't get spooked by fireworks. Plus, with AI, you could have like the traffic and stuff like that, and like roadworks all feed into that as well. So it would adapt routes based on things that a guide dog won't learn from. When you come to roadworks, you're like, oh, this is crap, but it would work around that for you, knowing your destination.
How much is it going to set me back?
Well,
probably substantially less than a guide dog over the course of its life.
Yeah, but I don't have to pay for that.
You probably wouldn't have to pay for this either. You could sponsor a Robodog.
Now, I love dogs, and I always think there'd be a dog in my life. But the day that these robotic guide dogs are an option, I would be intrigued by it. There are issues they're having with the actual technology still, and it's not down to the AI, it's down to the dog they have can't really do stairs very well, but that will get better with time. I mean, it would cut down on costs long term. If you think how much a guide dog costs to train and support throughout its life, I can't imagine one of these would cost over 50 grand.
No, I bet it would though.
Well, initially, yeah, but once they start to roll it out, once the tech gets better, I don't even know if it would cost 50 grand.
Ultimately, you're putting the emphasis with a robotic guide dog is the intelligence of it. But
I don't know, how would this dog work? Is it voice recognition? What, like, I talk to my guide dog now. Will I talk to this robot and say, like, find the box?
Well,
yeah, it's got voiceover. You won't need to say find the box. You just be like, let's walk to HSBC. And then you just drop a pin.
No, but then how would it know where to cross? And like, you don't necessarily
have cameras on it.
Got Google Maps, hasn't it?
It has cameras. It will have navigation. Has LiDAR as well. So if the cameras aren't working well, it uses light detection and radar for obstacles and things like that. Technology they've already put in long canes.
But it's not going to like point directly at the crossing box so I know where it is to then press the button and line myself up, and then...
But you could program it to do so. If it identifies what... Like, if you're using Be My AI, it will identify a crossing, like, box, wouldn't it? Like, it will say, oh, this is a crossing box with a button on it. But if you put that into a piece of technology and said, walk to this, when the command given, whatever the dog's name is, find this, I'm sure it would be able to.
Is it going to find the door exactly to get into a shop? Is it? I don't know.
I think it's probably more likely to do that than an actual guide dog.
Mm.
You can what 3 words it, so you're basically within like the space of 3 meters, and then I'm sure it can pick out a door.
And it's like with like self-driving cars. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than the dogs are in general. And I think that's what people often forget when it comes to AI and technology. They want perfection. But to go back to the terrible analogy of self-driving cars, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to not kill as many people on the road as like the tens of thousands who die every year on the roads. If we can take 2 zeros off of that, that's a win. So I think if you can apply that logic to the dogs, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be better. And I've had times where my guide dogs refuse to work. Selina, you've had that as well. And is that any different from there being, I don't know, a system failure on a robotic dog? You're still going to have to deal with it.
Well, if it breaks down, it breaks down and you're stuck. If my guide dog breaks down, to tell it to stop being silly and get on with it, give it a treat, and then we're off again. But if that breaks down on me, I am stuck.
There is that.
Yeah, that is an issue. I'll give you that.
Here's what I heard though. If a guide dog, for whatever reason, let's say it's too hot, or it's too cold, or there's fireworks, or whatever, people just use a cane, right?
Yeah.
Which this wouldn't have the issue with.
An option if the guide dog breaks down. Called roadside recovery. Call the AA.
Plus, you have the ability to put lights on it as well for those who do have some vision.
Hazard lights.
I mean, I'm not ready to give up my actual guide dog, but I think in our lifetime this will be something that will be available. And I wouldn't be surprised if guide dogs are already looking into this technology. Not necessarily to
utilize. Shut it down.
Maybe, but I imagine they are probably keeping an eye on it because there is this dog from Boston Dynamics. And just like
can't we attach the AI to the guide dog to help your real dog?
But why? Why
to use that technology, but then you still get your nice. It's got that personality, haven't they? A guide dog.
If you want a dog, get a dog.
No, I don't want to. I like that. I was never a dog person, but I like having a dog. But actually,
get a dog. You want a dog? Get a dog. And then the robot can do the rest of the work.
Yeah, and you can still walk your dog with the robot dog.
But would it be as satisfying? I don't know.
Well, we have no idea. We have no idea how quick this technology will come along, when it will be here, how good it will be. But guide dogs, they do get old, and they do retire, and they do get hurt.
Yeah, but these will get old, and then we're going to have to pay for an upgrade. Ugh.
Yeah, but that's unless guide dogs adopt it and then have the same sort of system.
Yeah, but no one's going to donate to that. I don't think people want to invest.
But I think tech companies would want to invest there. The thing is, you wouldn't get people that love dogs invested. You'd get tech companies and tech moguls invested instead. Your funding would just come from a different source. Get people that actually want to help the world as opposed to just love a cute dog.
There are a lot of very rich, eccentric entrepreneurs out there.
So can I get a different brand? Maybe I can get a Tesla one, or can I choose to have a, oh no, I want choice.
You probably could eventually, you can customize it.
If there's a company that probably would get into this just out of nowhere, it would be Tesla, let's be fair.
Yeah.
It is like the sort of crazy thing Elon Musk would do. So you might be able to get one. You never know. Put some solar panels on it. Keep it charged up during the day.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the future brings with AI. I think there's a lot of potential here. Like I said at the start, there's a lot of doom and gloom about it. It's going to take people's jobs, potentially the dogs of the guide dogs as well. But there's a lot of good that can come from this as well. So any final thoughts on AI? Are we for it, against it?
I think every visually impaired person at least should be for technology. Our lives are so much better thanks to technology than it was, 10 years ago even. So if there are visually impaired people out there grumbling about this, nah, you're wrong. Yeah. I think it's clever, it's good, it's helpful.
I am also of that nature, and potentially if a robot dog was on the cards, maybe I'd consider it.
There you go, Seesaw exclusive. If we're still doing this in 15 years and they're available, we'll call Cleaves out on it.
From the time he said, maybe I will consider it.
Yeah.
2 very vague words.
And if we're doing this in 15 years, we'll use Seeing AI again to see how old it thinks I look again. So it's scary how good it is. I think it's nothing but a good thing. But what do you think at home?
Do you want a volume 2 of this AI series?
I mean, we could definitely look into more apps and other utilities.
We could look into the apps that we half-assed this time.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a Be My AI and Seeing AI versus bit of a mass debate. Maybe give us some images to evaluate, because Seeing AI, you can use photos as well on that.
You can on Be My AI. What
Yeah,
are
I
you
know.
on about?
That's what I said as well.
Yeah, but the descriptions aren't as detailed.
Well, maybe we'll find out in a future mass debates.
I like Envision. I just thought to say that.
Yeah, there is
Okay.
Envision as well.
Please can do the Envision one.
One each.
I like that Pringles thing that was mentioned.
Oh, Navilens.
Yeah.
Oh, another one. Fucking hell. Well, stay tuned for potentially something down the line. But until then, have a look in the show notes. You'll find the links for the 2.5 that we mentioned today. And let us know on the links coming up, what do you think of artificial intelligence? Is it making your life better? Are you going to give these apps a try? What would make your life better as a visually impaired person or disabled person or a regular person? We don't care who you are. Let us know. Does anyone want to sign off with anything?
Goodbye.
I can't match that enthusiasm.
Thank you for listening to Seesaw Podcast. Your feedback and comments mean a lot to us, so if you'd like to get in touch, you can do so in the following ways.
You can find us on Twitter at Seesaw Pod, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Seesaw Podcast. And you can also join us at seesawpodcast.com.
Remember to like, rate, review and share with a friend.
This podcast was recorded in front of a blind audience.